The helicopter blades hummed loudly over the private helipad on the outskirts of San Diego, California, where Atlas Aerotech was unveiling its newest luxury air fleet. Investors in tailored suits, executives with polished smiles, and media crews stood behind velvet ropes, waiting for the CEO to arrive. This event wasn't just a launch, it was a celebration of power, money, and status. Amelia Rhodes, the young billionaire CEO of Atlas Aerotech, stepped out of her black SUV wearing designer sunglasses and a sharp white blazer. Cameras flashed instantly. Known for her confidence and sharp tongue, Amelia believed only the best deserved respect. As she walked toward the helicopter, her heels clicked against the concrete, until her eyes landed on someone she clearly didn't expect to see. Near the edge of the helipad stood Ethan Carter, a quiet janitor in a faded blue uniform, pushing a cleaning cart. He had been assigned to clean the hangar before the event. His posture was calm, his expression unreadable, and his eyes briefly followed the helicopter as if it stirred an old memory. Amelia frowned. "What is he doing here?" she muttered to her assistant, loud enough for nearby executives to hear. Ethan stopped when a security guard signaled him to move away. "Sorry," Ethan said politely. "I'll be done in 2 minutes." Amelia crossed her arms, clearly irritated. "This is a high-profile aviation event, not a maintenance shift," she said sharply. Laughter rippled through the crowd. Ethan nodded respectfully. "Understood, ma'am." But as the helicopter pilot began running pre-flight checks, a sudden warning light blinked on the dashboard. The pilot stepped back, confused. Engineers rushed in, whispering urgently. Investors exchanged worried looks. The launch was about to be delayed. Ethan watched quietly from a distance. Amelia sighed in frustration. What now? One engineer shook his head. "The flight system, not responding properly. We're checking it." Minutes passed, the crowd grew restless. Then, without thinking, Ethan spoke, his voice calm but confident. "If the auxiliary rotor lock isn't disengaged, the system will keep throwing that error." Silence fell. Amelia turned slowly, eyes narrowing. "And you know this because you mop floors." A few people chuckled. Ethan hesitated. "I've seen this model before." Amelia smirked, amused. A reckless idea sparked in her mind, half joke, half humiliation. She raised her voice so everyone could hear. "Oh really?" she said mockingly. "Tell you what, janitor, if you can fly this helicopter safely, I'll marry you, deal." The crowd burst into laughter. Phones came out. Someone whispered, "This is going viral." Ethan looked at the helicopter, then back at Amelia. His face didn't change, but something deep in his eyes shifted. "I didn't come here to embarrass anyone," he said quietly. Amelia shrugged. "Then don't pretend to be something you're not." Ethan took a slow breath and stepped toward the helicopter. No one noticed the faint military tattoo on his wrist, or the way the pilot instinctively stepped aside. The laughter around the helipad slowly faded as Ethan Carter climbed into the helicopter with steady confidence. The pilot, a seasoned professional, studied him for a moment. There was something familiar in the way Ethan moved, calm, precise, unafraid. "Sir, have you flown before?" the pilot asked quietly. Ethan glanced at the controls, his fingers hovering for just a second. "A long time ago," he replied. Amelia Rhodes stood with her arms crossed, a satisfied smirk on her face, certain this spectacle would end in humiliation. Cameras rolled, investors whispered, security tensed, ready to intervene. Ethan adjusted the headset, ran through the checklist without hesitation, and reached beneath the panel. With one clean motion, he disengaged the auxiliary rotor lock. The warning light blinked, then vanished. The engineers froze. "That's impossible," one of them whispered. The helicopter engines roared to life smoothly. Ethan's posture straightened, not like a janitor, but like a man who had done this hundreds of times. He gently lifted the aircraft, hovering it perfectly above the pad. The crowd fell silent, stunned. Amelia's smile disappeared. Ethan rotated the helicopter in a flawless arc, demonstrating full control before lowering it back down with textbook precision. The skids touched the ground as softly as a feather. When he stepped out, the helipad erupted, not in laughter, but in shock. The pilot removed his helmet and stood at attention. "Captain Carter," he said under his breath. That single word sliced through the noise. Amelia's heart skipped. "Captain," she repeated, disbelief flooding her voice. Ethan sighed, knowing the truth could no longer stay hidden. He rolled up his sleeve, revealing a faded U.S. Army aviation insignia and a purple heart scar near his wrist. I flew Black Hawk helicopters for the US Army, Ethan said calmly. 2 tours overseas. I trained pilots and saved lives. A stunned engineer spoke up. Why would someone like you be working as a janitor? Ethan's eyes darkened, not with shame, but with memory. After my wife died, I walked away from everything. Medals didn't help me raise my daughter. Quiet work did. The crowd fell silent. Amelia felt her throat tighten. For the first time, she truly saw him, not as a uniform, not as a title, but as a man. Her joke replayed in her mind like a cruel echo. I'm sorry, she said softly, the arrogance gone. I had no right to mock you. Ethan met her gaze, respectful but distant. Respect shouldn't depend on what someone wears. News vans rushed forward. Investors whispered in awe. The story had already changed, from mockery to humility. Amelia took a step closer. About what I said earlier. Ethan gave a small, sad smile. Some promises are made for laughs, others are earned. He picked up his cleaning cart and walked away, leaving Amelia standing in silence, her world shaken, her beliefs challenged. High above, the helicopter blades slowly came to rest, but the lesson they left behind would echo for a lifetime.